Well, I agree with you that it's a hard nut, but hard nuts can be cracked. If I look back and say, well, this one is too difficult, I wouldn't be doing too much in my life. I mean, life has been a set of challenges, particularly for a country like India. One of the developments this time, in fact, has been a very explicit recognition by President Biden of the need to actually reform the UN, which is not a small development.
I was very interested to watch your address to the UN General Assembly just a couple of weeks ago, and you referred to reformed multilateralism, and you acknowledged that reform of the Security Council was at the core of that. But that's a really hard nut to crack. How, in fact, do you think India can advance its purposeful agenda for reformed multilateralism? And I ask you this against the background of your strong commitment to diplomacy and paying more attention to diplomacy, but also as a former ambassador to the UN and committed multilateralist. I think if India can help to lead the way on this, then it would be a very good thing in the current circumstances globally.
Mm-hmm. Well, I agree with you that it's a hard nut, but hard nuts can be cracked. If I look back and say, well, this one is too difficult, I wouldn't be doing too much in my life. I mean, life has been a set of challenges, particularly for a country like India. So I would not let the difficulties of that challenge deter me or discourage me. In fact, I'd put it the other way around. Ask yourself, put India aside for a moment. Look, there are whole continents today which actually feel that the Security Council processes do not take into account their interests. I spoke earlier about Ukraine and a sense in the global south that their problems of food and fuel and fertilizer are being just brushed aside. Frankly, if you go to a UN General Assembly and talk to countries, there are countries in Africa and Latin America and the small island states, quite apart from Asia and India, who feel very, very strongly that this is not their UN in a way. And I think that's hugely damaging to the UN. So one of the developments this time, in fact, has been a very explicit recognition by President Biden of the need to actually reform the UN, which is not a small development. But we need to because we all know why reform has been blocked for so many years. So I think it's important to keep up the pressure. There is global sentiment out there. We completely understand. This is not something which is going to be done easily and necessarily speedily. But it's something which has to be done finally. Otherwise, we will end up, frankly, with an increasingly irrelevant United Nations.